Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies, how the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Reliance Global is an InsurTech pioneer leveraging artificial intelligence and cloud computing to transform the insurance brokerage industry. With me is Rick Emig, a Chief Operating Officer of a Reliance Global subsidiary.
Yes.
And also Grant Barra, Senior Vice President of Operations. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
So Grant, let's just start with, provide us with an overview of Reliance Global Group, the recent development. What have been some of the consolidations involving the exchange? Bring us up to date on all of that.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned consolidations. One of the biggest developments organically that we've been heading towards within the company is we call it the one firm. And essentially that is a consolidation of all the entities in which Reliance Global Group has purchased over the last several years. And it's really a good thing that this is happening. Because there is a lot of value, synergetic value, that is ready to be taken advantage of, particularly with our exclusive agency partner network through RELI Exchange.
And Rick, let's bring you in. We've been talking about you, so tell me about your evolution, your journey with Reliance Global.
Well, I've been on board for about 2 years after a 27-year career in the health insurance market in Michigan. And since that time, watching how Reliance, Global Group operated, I've watched a lot of aggregators consolidate or purchase companies and consolidate them. And I've throughout my career, I've watched a lot of that. So I was very curious as to how Reliance Global Group did that with a subsidiary I joined. And at first, my opinion was they bought good companies, provided support, and left them alone. And then I was surprised by that, and because there's a lot of opportunities that were being missed. And very quickly they started the evolution towards where we're going today by bringing in some infrastructure to home office, which is banking and payroll and all kinds of different tools that give the field organizations a more efficient way to do things. And then it moved into, we're all going to use this CRM in your field office, and we're all going to use this agency management system. And that change is cumbersome and sometimes hard, and sometimes there's some stiff arms that go up. But watching the successes that we've had from some of those changes really lend itself to this next step of actually becoming one firm, actually having one go-to-market strategy, actually taking advantage of the opportunities of working with the other subsidiary companies throughout the country.
What have been some of the benefits that you have realized or anticipate realizing as part of this one firm transition? Well,
the benefits we've realized are more about efficiencies and things Grant talked about a second ago about lowering costs, and with that comes some revenue increases. But looking forward is kind of the exciting part for me, is that it's access to markets and access to carrier contracts and access to the brain trust of my partners that run the other agencies, that run the other affiliates. When you talk about being able to cross-sell and just generate revenue that never existed before by taking advantage of those new markets and new carrier contracts.
Interesting. How can somebody find out more about Reliance Global or the exchange?
Okay, so Reliance Global Group, best place to go is if you go to www.relianceglobalgroup.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and put in your email address so you can be alerted for any news or press releases or filings that may come out. Very important to stay up to date, and you can understand the whole story. For RELI Exchange, if you're an agent or an agency partner that's really looking to have your own independent practice, right? Built on the backbone of a proprietary InsurTech platform, you have access to the mentorship and guidance that you need. Those individuals are going to want to go to www.RELI exchange.com.
Okay, Grant and Rick, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jane.
Clean Vision identifies and supports innovative companies in clean energy and sustainability, aiming to meet global market needs while improving customer quality of life and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. At Clean Vision, we provide consultancy services, helping organizations enter new markets faster and become more profitable. Clean Vision, the future of clean energy.
Aspira Women's Health is transforming women's gynecological health with discovery, development, and commercialization of innovative testing options for women, starting with ovarian cancer. With me is the President and CEO, Nicole Sandford. Great to have you back here. Michelle Snider, a Senior Vice President, Commercial Strategy and Operations, and Lottie Wilder, Market Development Manager and patient as well. Yes. So, Nicole, let's start with, it's been a few months since we talked. Bring me up to date on what's going on with Aspira.
Sure. Well, it's great to be back. Been a very busy time at Aspira. The most exciting development that we had is that we completed the clinical study for our Overwatch longitudinal monitoring test expansion. So Overwatch, as you recall, was the test we launched in 2022 for initial clinical assessment for women that were diagnosed with an adnexal mass. Very high negative predictive value, 99% negative predictive value, and a personalized risk score that basically would help a woman who is diagnosed with an adnexal mass understand the true risk of a malignancy and help her and her clinician work together to determine the appropriate path of treatment.
And you're also refreshing your commercial strategies. Tell me about that.
That's right. Well, this is something that's been ongoing for some time. The first most important part of that exercise was to really take a deep dive into each of our territories, understand where were we making money, and if we weren't making money, why? Was it a skill set issue? Was it a territory opportunity issue? Was it that we needed to have different relationships with larger physician groups in those markets? So that analysis has been ongoing. It was really important to have that all kind of put together before we moved to this much larger market opportunity for Overwatch. And I'm happy to say that we've completed that part of the process, and now we're really focused on growth going forward. And probably the most important thing we did was upskill our talent in the leadership and brought on Michell.
Yeah, okay, well, let's talk to Michelle. So, and you were with Aspira first and came back.
Yes.
Talk about why you decided to do that. What's your role now?
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I left in 2016 and was able to pursue some just incredible opportunities that were focused, outside of commercial sales leadership, and drove me into really product development, marketing, things like that really rounded out my experience. I've actually been in women's health diagnostics for about 15 years. So when I was looking at sort of the trajectory of my career, I knew that I wanted to stay in women's health.
What's your immediate focus, would you say?
Yeah, so there's really 3 different verticals that I'm focusing on here. Number one is obviously profitability. So we are using data to ensure that we are doing the correct targeting and that we're also very closely aligned with our managed care division so that we can ensure that we have profitability. The next piece there that I think is very important is really focusing on some of these larger health systems and also large OBGYN groups. We know that the industry as a whole is becoming, I would say, grouped into some of these larger organizations. So working in alignment with them and some of their value-based care needs, I think is critical. Another piece of that that's important is looking at other laboratories that align with us strategically and really having multipliers there and working with these other labs.
Lottie, tell me about your health dilemma.
Okay, so just to give a preface, my family, we're always concerned with ovarian cancer. It's always top of mind. My mother-in-law was diagnosed stage 4 ovarian cancer. She carries the BRCA, the BRCA2 gene, and unfortunately my husband also has the gene. My children both have the gene, so ovarian cancer is always top of mind. I actually lost a cousin to ovarian cancer at the age of 53. So about 15 years ago, I had a left oophorectomy. They took the left ovary out. Prior to that, I had several cystectomies. I kept getting recurring cysts and masses. They went in several times, and finally the doctor said, listen, I think we just need to take the ovary. It appeared to be slightly suspicious, so just to be safe, they removed the ovary, and thankfully it came back benign. And more recently, I developed a mass on the right ovary. And of course, given my history and just the knowledge of ovarian cancer and the experience with it, we decided OvaWatch would be the best choice for me at that time. The ultrasound findings were kind of indeterminate, so the doctor said, you know, I think this would be you're a great patient for this. So we did the testing. Thankfully, it came back with a low probability of malignancy, 99.5% negative predictive value. So to me, that's 99.5% certain that there's no risk of malignancy, nothing to be concerned with. So it just gives me peace of mind to know that I don't need to worry. Again, you know, I am getting closer to menopause, but I prefer to go through menopause naturally, not surgically. So the goal was to preserve the ovary.
Nicole, thank you so much. Great to see you. Nice to meet you, Michelle and Lottie. Thanks so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Nicole, looking ahead to 2024, what's ahead for Aspira?
Sure. So looking back just a little bit, you know, 2022 was all about right-sizing the business, getting our spending in line with the business need. 2023 has been all about the science, all about building out the portfolio and the team, building out the team. We've got a great team now. 2024 is going to be all about growth. So, you know, looking forward to next year, we've got the right people, we've got the right products, you know, we're ready to really take off. You know, there's a lot of hand-wringing about the market, but I happen to know that there's a lot of capital out there looking to be deployed for companies like Aspira. I have to assume some of these investors either have ovaries or love people with ovaries, so I'd encourage them to go back and take a look at the company. This is not a charity case. We have you know, a very, very compelling business case. We have unique technology that no one else has, and we're really poised for a great 24.
Lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis can be difficult to treat and debilitating for an animal's health and well-being. Take control of lameness issues and joint pain. Introducing Spring with Osteo Cushion technology. With just one injection, Spring with Osteo Cushion technology targets the root cause of lameness issues, joint pain, and osteoarthritis, helping animals do what they do best.
Acurx Pharmaceuticals is a publicly held clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing a new class of antibiotics for infections caused by bacteria that are listed as priority pathogens by the World Health Organization, the CDC, and others, FDA as well. So the CEO, David Luci, is here with me to explain. Now, tell me about your lead antibiotic candidate, because I know it's going to be doing phase 3 clinical trials soon, right?
Yes.
Okay, so talk to me about that candidate and what you expect out of those trials.
Thank you, Jane. It's a really exciting time. We just announced our top-line data on ibezapolstat, our lead antibiotic to treat C. difficile infection. And that data is clinically comparable to the standard of care, vancomycin, and we're going on to phase 3. We'll be meeting with the FDA in the first quarter. The data was phenomenal for ibezapolstat in phase 2. Altogether, the 2A component, 2B component, we were 25 out of 26 cures, 96.15%. In the phase 2B, oral vanc did better than it usually does. It got 14 out of 14 patients, but looked at within the context of their 37 years of data, 2,000 patients that we have evaluated, they have an average cure rate of 85.5%. So with that in mind, and with Merck's fidaxomicin at 88%, both of which have a lot of reinfections, and we have none, we're really excited to be moving on. We have a robust package to move to phase 3.
Yeah, I always remember the first time we talked about this, you talked about how there hasn't been anything to treat the C. diff in decades, and it just seems like it's kind of been just sitting there as a problem, and nobody's really done anything about it until you came along.
Yeah, it's true, and you know, a lot of big companies fell by the wayside. Recently, Pfizer had a vaccine for frontline therapy. They projected it to be a $1.05 billion opportunity. We agree with those numbers for frontline for C. diff, and they failed phase 3. Sanofi failed phase 3. Finch went by the wayside. Summit Therapeutics failed phase 3. So we literally are the next antibiotic up to bat with the FDA. There's no one closer to FDA approval than us in the C. diff space, and we're going into phase 3. And not only are we going into phase 3 with the FDA, we're going to leverage all of the time and money and effort, the preclinical and clinical package, and after we meet the FDA, we're going to leverage that data and we're going to go to the European Medicines Agency.
Okay, interesting. How big could this C. diff treatment be?
Well, if the data continues with the characteristics we've seen so far in phase 3, we agree with the Pfizer CFO, who was in Fierce Biotech and identified it as over $1 billion product.
Okay. Well, David, please keep us up to date on this, because I know you're entering this crucial phase for the treatment, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks so much. We have a lot of data coming out in the next 90 days, and stay tuned. I hope to give you an update.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Clean Vision identifies and supports innovative companies in clean energy and sustainability, aiming to meet global market needs while improving customer quality of life and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. At Clean Vision, we provide consultancy services, helping organizations enter new markets faster and become more profitable. Clean Vision, the future of clean energy.
Hello and welcome to the Business of Blockchain. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site. Today we're diving into micro lending, a new type of lending platform powered by blockchain technology. It's giving the working poor chances to succeed they never dreamed possible before. What lessons can we learn from this experience? This special report highlighting a blockchain use case is sponsored by Verda Ventures. And here to unpack this lending model and discuss its broader implications are GIA co-founder and CEO Zach Marks, Verda Ventures general partner Alex Witt, and Human Finance Head of Business and Operations, Jau Toure. So great to have you all here. We know microlending works clearly. We've talked about that. What about large loans? Is that an underserved market that we could see some solutions to, Zach?
For sure. I mean, in the markets where we serve, Francis, like Kenya, it's not just micro businesses like one guy with a spice shop, but we even find quite significantly larger enterprises that we've been serving. So we don't just do loans of $500, we've done some loans of $50,000 because there's a real need for that.
Yeah. Alex, what would your message be to U.S. lawmakers about the importance of this innovation?
Yeah. Our vision is that anyone with a mobile phone should have access to financial tools equivalent to a bank account. And we want to shift the dialogue away from centralized frauds like FTX and towards the positive use cases that enable financial access, such as microlending.
Now, Zach, Francis, your customer from Kenya, we talked about earlier, had something he wanted to tell our viewers, so let's have a listen.
It is my wish and my prayer that people will get the information, people they'll get to know how GIA can lift you up. Because if GIA has been that bridge to me, I know it can be a bridge to someone else, and I know it can be even a bridge to you.
Now, in case some viewers had trouble understanding what Francis just said, I will quote him now. It is my wish and my prayer that people will get this information and people will get to know how GIA can lift you up, because if GIA can be a bridge to me, I know it can also be a bridge to someone else and even to you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Francis, for that wonderful quote.
It seems you've made a lot of friends along the way, Zach. Is this personal to you?
Super personal to me. I mean, even the story of Francis is quite personal. I actually met him because I was walking through his market and stumbled upon his stall, and a local restaurant owner came by to buy some spices, and Francis didn't have enough inventory to make the sale, and that's where I got to chatting with him and realized it's such a problem, right? He could have been able to buy more stock at a lower cost. We could make more margin and make this transaction, and I love seeing him grow his business, and I just learned he bought a piece of land, so Congrats, Francis.
Thank you so much, Zach, for sharing your story. Alex, Jaru as well. That is it for today's edition of the Business of Blockchain. The special report highlighting a blockchain use case was sponsored by Verda Ventures. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site.
Your data is is vulnerable to cyber attacks. Introducing SKUR Swiss-hosted solutions. Secure Mail, Secure Messenger, and Secure VPN, protecting your communications, internet traffic, and identity. Regain your privacy today. Visit SKUR.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur. All right, the weekly hack is talking Vegas. I'm sure you heard the news of the casino hack, MGM, Caesars. I've stayed at both places. Luckily, it was not when they were hacked. So the issue, Alain, I want you to talk a little bit about is the FBI is still struggling to basically find this group of casino hacking guys. It's an actual gang. They're based in the US and they still haven't been arrested. So give us an update of what's going on and why we should be weary of stuff like this.
Well, I'll leave the authorities to do their job and I won't comment on that because they got quite a lot of work on their shoulders. What's important to know is that casino database is like the treasure trove. It's the holy grail because it's people that literally have money to spend, to throw away, and to gamble. That's the nature of the business. Interestingly enough, I stayed in Singapore a few years ago. It's the Sands Hotel or something. I forgot the name, but it's got that pool on the roof. And I received a few days ago an email from them. I mean, this was back in before 2019 even, and their database got hacked and my account has been compromised. So name, email address, everything. So this was before 2019. That's about almost 4 or 5 years ago. And the database stays. So even if you didn't stay there last month, Anna, you may have gone there 2 years ago or at some point. Your database is there because I didn't even go to the casino. I went to the hotel. There was a cybersecurity, there was a cloud conference there, and that's what we're exhibiting. And that's how they have my information. So casino database is extremely valuable. It's a huge target. And as we advance in this tough economic climate, that's the kind of database people want to get. Then they're going to resell it in the dark web and make money from it or hack you and find what kind of credit card and banking info you have. So it's pretty scary. We know that all these enterprises use the same infrastructure, the same email providers. And that's why we actually announced that we launched a brand new system for executive called Sekur RELI, which essentially lets, let's say, MGM use their domain hosted with one of their providers, but the management and the C-level executives can host with us, maintaining the same domain. So we split the domain into two. We're the only ones able to do that. And then they have the advantage of that secure send, secure feature and all that executives and managers would use for important communication. That's one way we can reduce crime and cyber hacking. So we're excited about that. Casinos are a prime target for this because they deal with obviously huge financial transactions.
Yes, and sometimes you feel helpless because you go to a casino when I went and you have to download these apps in order to get a coffee or room service or go to the pool. And so much of your information is out there already. And sometimes we don't really know what we can do at that big level, the corporate level, but what can we do at the consumer level between our own information at home on our computers? And that's also, you provide that service of the secure send and reply throughout your email services. So talk a little bit about that, because that's something we can adopt right now today on our own.
Yeah, that's a great example. You're going to go to a casino or a hotel, and if you're going to give any kind of information, sometime, I don't know, they need a copy of your passport or something, I would use the secure email with secure send, secure reply, which essentially lets you transact with anybody outside of Sekur, and the whole communication happens only in our servers in Switzerland. So the other person doesn't need to have Sekur. They can just click on a link, they get in, they read your email, and they use secure reply. You can also attach a ton of attachments. That's one way. You should have several email, a general email that is, throwable emails, we call it. We even offer that for consumer. We offer, I think, 2 aliases So 2 throwable emails that you can use at any time and then delete it and recreate another email. That's free with your account. So I would use that. I would recommend doing that. And then you have your main email, which is for more private communication, your medical info, your real estate. Maybe you're going to refinance your home or do anything or travel. And when they need your social security number and whatever, that's what I would use for Sekur.
And one more step for privacy is the VPN. Talk about your recent launch of this VPN and then how people can start to adopt these services into their everyday lives.
Yeah, the VPN is great. The VPN essentially puts you in a stealth mode. You're essentially in Switzerland. I should mention that we never require your phone number when you download our application. We even have a secure messenger, and basically it doesn't require you to put your phone number. So that's huge. And not having a phone number out there, letting everybody know what you're using, having the VPN making you look like you're in Switzerland. Because in Swiss law, the IP address is your private property, and it's illegal for us to even sell it or whatever. So we don't data mine you. So get the VPN and get the email combo. It's affordable, and we do offer a promo code as well with a 15% discount, and it's privacy. The promo code is privacy.
There you go. Well, privacy has arrived with Sekur. Great speaking with you, Alain, and we'll see you next week for another topic of the Weekly Hack. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone, and be very careful, especially these days.
Absolutely.
Your data is vulnerable to cyber attacks. Introducing Sekur Swiss-hosted solutions. Secure Mail, Secure Messenger, and Secure VPN, protecting your communications, internet traffic, and identity. Regain your privacy today. Visit Sekur.